Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So of course in my last video I described that I just sold my C8, and the C8 that I've only owned for 8 months. And the reason why I'm selling it is because I'm getting a new one. I'm getting a 2022 Corvette. But what I wanted to do in this video was break down the process of how I sold the car. I went to all the online iBuyers, I went to a couple of local dealers, and I really wanted to break down the process for people to show what companies I went to, what their response was, how their process was for contacting me and giving me a quote, and then ultimately what I did at the end. You might be surprised on the outcome that I came to at the end. It surprised me, so stick around and let's go through it. I had originally not expected to sell the car until I got the Z06. And I expected to hopefully break even, but the market has held up really, really well. And here we are. I'm gonna sell the car for the market value. But at the same time, I don't want to sell it private party and have that exchange of having to ask someone $20,000 or more over sticker price for something private party. I also don't want to put it on private party because lots of tire kickers, and I don't want someone just thinking that they're going to come get a test drive from my car. Because you can't go to the dealership and get one. So I went straight to businesses and tried to get quotes on getting them to buy the car from me. So I went to the iBuyer services, a couple of dealers and things like that. And I wanted it to just be a relatively smooth process. So that's why I went that way. And reaching out to all the different iBuyer services around, it gave me a perspective on not just the trade-in value range of these cars, but also what their service is like. And I wanted to review them and give you an idea of what they wanted to buy the car from me for. So it gives you an idea of how much these cars are worth and what the values that these different various companies trade in their cars for. So first of all, I went to a lot of different companies' websites, all these companies that offer to buy their car online and things like that. And there were a few that unfortunately didn't give me a quote. So just let's get some of those out of the way really quickly. First of all, there were a couple of Chevy dealers local to me that advertised that they want to buy my car. Great, went to their website, filled out their form. No one ever got back to me. They didn't give me a price instantly, and no one ever got back to me. That sucks. I mean, you guys are in the business of buying and selling Chevy cars. I'm surprised no one got back to me. But we'll move on from there. No, I'm not going to name their names. Second, CarMax. Now, I don't want to say they never got back to me, but if you go to CarMax's website and you have a C8 Corvette and you type it in on their website, they say, oh, this is a rare car or whatever. We need to actually see it. Come drive it down to our location. Well, I would do that. I'm not afraid of doing that, but the nearest CarMax is about 40 miles from me. I didn't want to just make the trip down there and then make the trip all the way back just to have them give me a price. If I were in town, closer by with the Corvette, yeah, I'd swing by and get that quote, but it turns out I never was during this time. I've heard people getting good values on their trade-ins from CarMax. You can look them up on forums or discussion boards or on YouTube videos. There's a few that are made like that. So look them up there. I think they give pretty good values, but I don't really have firsthand experience because they didn't give me a price. Second, Carvana. I filled out their website form, never heard back from them. Didn't even get like a response back saying, hey, we're thinking about it. We'll give you a number here in a couple weeks, or no phone call, nothing. I think I got a form entry confirmation email and then ghosts after that. So nothing from Carvana. That was surprising. Shift. Shift is another company that is doing a lot of advertising lately. And when I went to their website, they came back with an answer saying, sorry, we don't buy these cars. And I'm sure that's probably just part of their business model because they're going to probably make more money on the buying and selling of more bread and butter cars rather than the rarer cars like a Corvette or anything that's appreciating too quickly in value, because they may not make enough money on that because they're going to have to flip it to a dealer. They're a wholesaler, basically. They're going to have to flip it to a dealer, and they're not going to make a whole lot of money doing that. So they just flat out said they weren't going to bid. Car Gurus, the same way. They have a wholesale iBuyer service. Same thing, filled out their form. They said, sorry, this car doesn't fit our formula. We're not going to do it. So the other companies that actually did give me a price back, I'm going to go through them very quickly, and I'm going to tell you what price they gave me and a very quick review on how their process was. The lowest price I got was a company called Driveway. They're kind of similar to Shift, where they're a little smaller, a little newer, but they also advertise that they buy cars all over the country. So they offered me $78,000. Now, if you remember, the MSRP on my car is $67,000. After taxes and everything, I'm in it for about $72,000. So they offered me $78,000. That was the lowest price I got. In the grand scheme of things, that's not bad. But it was also the lowest I got. Their process was okay. They had a text message conversation go back and forth with me and ultimately settled on $78,000. So the next lowest company was a company called Gimme the VIN or gimmethevin.com. Their process is very similar to Driveway, where you fill out their form online, and they gave me a quote a couple days later and had an email and a text conversation back and forth. You do have the option to counter offer anything they give you, and that kind of bumped up my price maybe like $1,000. I think they offered me 78 to 80. I counter offered at 90, and then they came back with a hard offer at $80,000. So decent process, but not the greatest price. The next one up is a company called Car Zeus. Now they're actually local here in San Antonio. I don't know if they're in other cities or not, but they do have just a pretty normal iBuyer service. So they're not much different than something like Gimme the VIN, except for they're just based here in San Antonio. So when you fill out their form online, they're a little bit different, and then they call you back, which was not really my purpose. I didn't want to get around a bunch of calls, but anyway, they're really nice, and they don't try to hardball you or anything like that, but they do give you relatively low prices. They gave me a really low price on my C6 when I tried to sell it last year, but they gave me an okay price this time at $82,000. The next up is Vroom. I'm sure Vroom is a more well-known name than some of these. They have a very well-known service to buy your car and come pick it up, or you can buy a car from them and they'll come drop it off. Similar to what Carvana and CarMax are advertising as well. They do that nationwide. Now, the interesting thing about Vroom is I actually submitted a form to them back in October. Before I even got the news I would be able to order a 2022, just for fun, just to see what they would offer me. And they offered me $82,642, and which is not a bad price. I was actually a little excited that they would offer me that. This was only a couple months after I bought the car. Now I filled out the form again here in January whenever I was going through this process of looking for bids, and they never got back to me. It was kind of weird. Like I sent me a message the day of, saying, hey, we got your bid and we're thinking about it. And then like a couple days later, I think they even sent me a, hey, we're still thinking about it, kind of email, something weird like that, but never gave me a price. I even replied back to it. They never gave me a price or contacted me again. So we're just going to go with their old price of $82,642. The next lowest number on the list is from a company called Car Buyer USA, and I think that's just carbuyerUSA.com if you go to their website. So their website is by far the easiest to use of all these as far as putting in your information, getting a price. You literally go there, type in your VIN number or license plate number. I think they have both options. And then like 5 seconds later, they give you a price. It's like right there on the website. They don't have to text you or call you or email you 3 days later, none of that junk. They just give you a price right away. So I think they're more of a network marketing type of company where they'll then take that price if you accept it and then go market it out to any local dealers. And if someone takes it, then, there you go. So it's $84,001. I don't know where the extra $1 comes from, but that's what they offer, $84,001. So very, very easy process to get the quote. I don't know how the process is if you accept their quote, but very easy process to get the quote and not a bad price, kind of in the middle. The next up is Carbingo. So Carbingo is actually an iBuyer service that I didn't know this until after I got contacted back from them. It's owned by Classic Chevy in Sugar Land, Texas. So it's actually an iBuyer service. They advertise themselves as an agnostic iBuyer service on their commercials and on the internet, but they're actually owned by Classic Chevrolet. But that worked out, I think, for me because since it's a Chevy dealer, they probably really wanted the Corvette because they could then certify it and resell it. Their process was okay. I won't say it was the best. So when I fill out their form online, someone called me not long afterwards. That person that called me was from a Houston phone number or from a Sugar Land phone number. And she told me she was from Classic Chevy Sugar Land. And I was kind of like, I never contacted Classic Chevy Sugar Land, but this is weird. So anyway, that person never, it seemed to know that I filled out a form on Carbingo. I didn't know I actually contacted Classic Chevy Sugar Land. They need to fix their process. Like that's confusing as heck. So luckily I figured it out and knew that was them. But anyway, they gave me a good price. It was $86,500. They gave it to me relatively quickly. There was a couple of phone calls back and forth, but that's really about it. That's how it was. After that, the prices that I got above $86,500 from Carbingo were all from local dealerships. So that since they're from local dealerships here in the San Antonio area, I'm not necessarily going to disclose their name, but there were two. One of them is not a Chevy dealership. So it's here local to San Antonio. but not a Chevy dealer. So it would be an easy way for them to get a good used car to turn around and put on their lot, but they can't certify it and sell it as a certified pre-owned on their lot. So this was actually someone who contacted me through Instagram. I put on there that I was planning on selling the car. He sent me a DM. Thank you, by the way, you know who you are. And he went to his manager and they offered me $87,000. So it was a pretty good price. At the time, that was the highest price I had gotten from anybody. And I really strongly considered that he would be the one that would be buying the car. This was by far anything I got from any of the other dealers, iBuyers, or any private party tire kicker that I may have gotten. It was $87,000. But my last ditch effort here was to simply ask the dealer I'm buying the new Corvette from. I hadn't done that yet. And the reason why I hadn't done that is because for two reasons. One, they already have me as a buyer. So they don't need to try to sell me by giving me a good deal on the trade-in. Second, it seems a little odd to sell them a car for more than sticker when I'm then buying a car from them at sticker, and it's just seems odd. Third, the fact that the dealer would know that I'm going to be saving on taxes on the new car on the trade-in, he could potentially supplement that offer he's going to offer me, and I may still be willing to accept it because of that. And so, you know, basically, if I'm kind of saving $4,000 on taxes on the new car, he could have offered me $4,000 less, and I guess it would have still been a good deal for me. So anyway, but I did reach out to him. I said, hey, would you be willing to give me a price for the trade-in? And he responded back instantly, and he said, yes, they're going to offer me $91,000. I was excited. I verified that I sent him the right information, that I had the right trim level on my email, I had the right VIN number and all that stuff. I didn't want him to think that I was giving him a car with different options, because even though $91,000 is not crazy high, it is honestly more than I was expecting to get from the dealer I'm buying the new car from. And now if we factor in that I'm going to be saving $4,000 by not having to pay taxes on the new car, that's essentially him giving me $95,000 for that car, if we're comparing that against what one of the other dealers or one of the other iBuyers would give me. $95,000. So remember, I bought the car for $67 sticker price. After taxes, it was $72. I'm netting from $72 to $95 if we look at taxes going both ways. So essentially, I am making $23,000 on this transaction, and I got to get that car for 8 months and drive it around for 1,000 miles and have a lot of fun with it. It was really awesome. So the good news is now I get to do it all over again when the new car comes in. So the new car should be here sometime maybe middle of March. The guy wanted me to trade it in now so he could guarantee that price. I'd still get the tax savings on the trade-in, and then I can just pick up the new car whenever it comes in a couple of weeks. So that's what I did to make sure I could get guaranteed that $91,000 trade-in value that he gave me. So that's really my review here, guys. I really hope that you found some value in me talking about why I'm selling the car and how much I got for it when I was going through the different iBuyer services out there. I wanted to give some transparency on what some of these dealerships and iBuyer services are offering for a car like this. Of course, if you have a C8 and you have a 2LT with a convertible and a bunch of options, they're going to offer you more than what they offered me, right? They offered me what they offered me based on the option packages I had. If you have a higher option package, they're going to offer you more. Simple as that. But that gives you an idea. I found and also talked to a couple of other people that felt the same way since then, that the Chevy dealers are paying the most when you're going to sell a C8 right now. They know they can take in the car, recondition it very quickly, put it back on the lot, and sell it as a certified pre-owned car. And they have people coming to them looking for Corvettes all the time. Whereas if you were at a Kia dealer, they don't have people coming to them looking for a Corvette, right? But a Chevy dealer does. So they have that demand of buyers coming in, and now that gives them supply to sell it. So for that reason, Chevy dealers are offering more for trade-in on these C8s than pretty much any other buyer out there, and more I've seen than even going private party. So if you have a Corvette C8 out there right now and you're looking to either trade it in on a new C8, or you're going to trade it in next year or in the future on a Z06, or if you just want to sell it, just go to the local Chevy dealers. Like, just go contact every Chevy dealer in your town, even if it's by email or phone call. Yeah, some of them sadly will ghost you and not call you back, but you'll probably get one or two that will offer you a pretty good amount, and it'll probably be higher than what you could sell it for a private party. And you won't have to deal with all the crazy people lowballing you or arguing about you selling it for over sticker price, or whatever other reason why you don't want to sell at private party is also the reason I didn't want to sell at private party. So that's where we're at. So I hope you guys really found this video informative. That was my point here, is to share with my experience with these different services, and also why I'm selling the car now and why you won't see another one here for a few more weeks. And if you enjoyed this video, give me a like, subscribe, and until next time, guys, adios.